Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. Hey, you little SOBs, you little rascals. Welcome back to another episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. We are in for quite the conversation today, but before we jump into that, let's just go ahead and get some housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, we want you to leave us a review. All right, guys, that is going to help us tremendously. That is your gift to us. If you've been thinking really hard about how you could give back to us, let that be it. All right, leave us a review. We typically like to say 5-star review only, but we'll allow it. Whatever you guys want to put in there, you're allowed to do that.
I mean, you're allowed. I'm still going to say leave a 5-star review, but okay.
That helps to get this podcast in front of other small business owners who might be looking for marketing information and resources. And so we want to build a community around here of small business owners that can all share their experiences and navigate this wacky world of entrepreneurship, right? Oh, and before I forget, TLDL, too long didn't listen. If you guys are in a rush, go ahead and skip to that TLDL section. Chelsea will give you a brief lowdown of the conversation, and then you could come back and listen to the entire conversation when you have more time, because you're going to want to get all of the details, right? All of that extra stuff that we talk about in between there.
Absolutely. So Vivian, today's episode is going to be a good one. We have done in the past, we've done episodes on our favorite tools, our favorite AI tools, our favorite, stuff like that. So today we're going to do same thing, but not our favorite.
Same thing, but different.
Yeah. We're doing our favorite marketing resources.
Perfect.
So resources are going to be a little different. They're going to be meatier. They're not necessarily like a Canva, but they're more of a hub where you can find more than just one way to get marketing support.
Excellent. Now, as a reminder, if you guys are new around here, whenever we bring you tools, platforms, recommendations, it's stuff that we usually use too, right? Yeah. Like it's the stuff that we keep going back to, that we love and that we have found helpful. And so, reminder, I think depending on where you're at as a small business owner, some of these may be more intriguing than others. So check them all out though, figure out if they have anything that is worth it to you, because you'll likely be able to take some part of the website and say, oh, I didn't realize they offered this. I'm excited about it.
Okay, Vivian, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's kick it off.
We're good? Okay. So the first one is going to be grow with Google, and honestly, Google in general, right? Because Google is such, for one, it's still the most popular search engine, even though, crazy statistic, y'all, but Gen Z, they don't Google things anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually search for things in social media apps.
So listen, I was actually doing a separate video, and I had read a lot of information that stated, to your point, Google is still the biggest search engine. And while some people are now, and most everyone's like, oh, well, I just go to social media to buy. But here's the difference is when you're on social media, like when you're on Instagram, you're also just scrolling.
Yeah.
And then you're like buying. So buying is most of the time not at the forefront, but what you're being influenced, right? Because you're like, oh, I really love that lip gloss somebody's wearing or whatever it is. Let me try it. And so then you're purchasing. Whereas if you go to Google and you're in the mindset to purchase, you do it very quickly, right? Like you're going to the platform with the intent to buy. Same reason you go to Amazon, right?
Yes. I love that we're having this little tangent because, Vivian, it's so interesting to me that you think search and you go to purchasing. So when I think of, Gen Z is using social media instead of Google to search for things, I'm thinking local businesses. I'm thinking they're looking for information. That's what I think of. We're probably both right, or we could be both wrong. Like, there's no right or wrong answer to this specifically. I just think that's really interesting to know that search, just that term, can mean two very different things to two people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess also because, and it does have to do with age, and I think just how I was brought up using the internet, right? It was a different time and place. And so I think for me, let's say I wanted to buy black high heels, I would still go to Google because I know Google is going to aggregate all of the options into that shopping tab. Right? And so it's an easier way instead of me like going to Instagram and not really finding what I want or whatever. So I do think it's preference.
This is so, okay. So you actually look for the specific, like you put in the specific thing you want to buy in Google?
Yeah.
I've never, okay, great example, y'all. Gen Z, I'm technically Gen Z. What I do is I'm like, okay, I want to shop local. So I'm going to go to Instagram. Y'all, I am dealing with a lot of allergy stuff right now. So if my voice keeps on like sounding different, I'm sorry. It's all stuffy. But I'm looking for a specific thing I want to buy from a local small business. I go to Instagram to search for businesses that would have that thing. But I'm not searching for that thing specifically.
So you're never searching for like black high heels?
No. Even if I'm on Google, like I don't Google black high heels. I Google Aldo because that's a shoe brand that I know and trust. Or I Google Steve Madden. And then I go to the website and then in there I search for the black heels. I have never just Googled
But that's
black
not a local
heels.
Business.
Well, no, I'm just giving you an example.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's the difference is I also, like, if I'm in need of something, I know very specifically what I want. And so that is why I go to Google. Or some people, same reason people go to Amazon. Yeah. So let's say I'm working on a project. I'm looking for brown craft bags for this project, right? And I need them in larger quantity. I either go to Google, type that in, and then go to the shopping tab, or I just go to Amazon and buy them there. But that's...
Y'all, please tell me if I'm completely insane here, if I'm just doing things the wrong way and Vivian's correct.
Well, I don't think there's a correct way in shopping. People, there's preference, and then people are... It's probably, I think, especially because as technology has evolved over time and as these platforms have changed, you know, it used to be that you weren't buying on Instagram. They didn't have that Instagram shop option, right? There weren't links. There weren't places to be able to do that. There wasn't a link in bio where you can go and click on it and then get a referral link. So this is all new. So I'm sure there's going to be an elongated period of time where people are doing both or a mixture of the two.
All of that to say, Google is still a good resource hub for small businesses, for marketing. I mean, for one, you could just Google marketing stuff. Yes, you're going to have to sift through a lot of stuff, but that's still an option. I specifically want to talk about Grow with Google. So Grow with Google specifically has Google coaches to help you with your small business. They also have categories where you can pick what you are looking for support for. So, for example, I want to be found online is a category. If you go into that category, then you can find a list of resources, ways they can help. They have video tutorials, guides. Again, Google by itself is also very important, having a Google business profile. Very important for SEO purposes.
I love this as a resource because if you don't know, there are actually certifications that you could go in there and get through the Grow with Google. And these are wonderful. I think they have one for like SEO and stuff like that. So if you're wanting just to learn more about these topics on how to grow your business, what better place to go look for it than the largest search engine, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you are wanting to figure out ways to quote unquote be found online. Okay, well then go to the source, right?
Exactly.
And to close out the conversation on Google, they, as a marketing professional, a lot of times when we're out there researching some of the ways that these platforms are changing, Google has some of the best blogs or write-ups than anybody else out there. So for example, when they release any type of new feature or anything along those lines, they do a very good job of putting an overview together. When they did their search generative experience that we've talked about quite a bit, and we were trying to learn up on it to be sure that we could bring you guys good information, it was very detailed. And so just to make the case, Google does really good job of communicating their features, how their algorithm works. Some of it sometimes can feel a little over your head, like, you know, talking about cookies and all this stuff, website tracking, all of that. But they are very comprehensive.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the next resource hub I have is going to be Service Corps of Retired Executives. So it's SCORE is what it is.
That's probably what you guys have heard it called, SCORE.
Yes, SCORE, correct. But it is a great resource hub. They have a wide array of resources. They offer mentorships. They have events. They have webinars, courses, workshops. They actually have templates you can use for your marketing. So for example, they had a marketing plan guide. They had a target market data worksheet, which kind of want to download that just to see how they did that, you know, how they created a worksheet. Very interested in that. They have a download for an annual marketing budget template. Love that. So if you're considering creating a marketing budget, don't know where to go. Of course, Vivian and I have talked about you don't have to do an annual, like you don't have to do a yearly budget, but if it's something you're considering, go check that out.
What I love about SCORE, Chelsea, is personally, I've seen it doesn't matter if you're just starting out as a business or perhaps you haven't launched your business yet. They have a ton of resources for people that are going to launch. Yep. So if you haven't quite pulled the trigger yet, or let's say you're less than a year into your small business, you can 100% link up with a local SCORE office and they will provide you resources. Also, if you are going to the bank to try to go get a loan, these are a great group of people to tap into because they can help you actually write out a marketing plan that is usually part of what you submit to the bank to get funding. So just they have such the idea behind it is that they actually go out and recruit people who have been in business and have been successful at it. And so now perhaps they've, well, as it says, they've retired executives, okay? They're now retired and they want to give back to the community. And part of that is sharing their experience on how to do decision making and all of that. And so it is a wonderful resource, whether you're just starting out, haven't quite started out, or you're 5 years into business, 10 years into business.
Yeah. I'm really glad you also brought up locally. They could pair you up with people. Yeah. They have local branches and they do have some local events depending on where you are. So go check that out and maybe look into finding a local office.
Also, it's free. I don't know if I said that. FREE, y'all. Free. Okay. It costs $0. Great way to network. Great way to meet people. The mentorship, I think, is a really big part of this. I actually was able to meet a SCORE, one of these retired executives, years ago. And can I tell you, this man was just a gem because he was so willing to just share all of the knowledge that he had accrued over his, I think he was like 40 plus years in business. And so, extremely valuable with connecting you to people in the business community, and also just helping you with some of these details, documentations that maybe you just need help navigating. I mean, great, the banks are going to tell you this is what we need, but sometimes you just want someone to review your work, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you just look this over and be sure that I'm thinking this. But I do want to go back. You said, so it's also coupled with, so they have local offices where you could meet people, but they also have online resources. So if you're not quite there yet, you can take advantage of their online resources and then maybe move into the one-on-one stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So for our next resource, Vivian, I actually want to hear from you specifically about it because you have used this before. Or still using it. I'm not entirely sure, but HARO.
Yes, help a reporter out, okay? And actually, I think there's some stuff going on behind the scenes where they're merging, about to get bought. Something's going on.
Okay.
It's not, is it Cisco, one of those. It's, to your point, we are signed up for their email list. So every day I get an email from HARO.
It turns out HARO was actually discontinued this past December 2024. We decided to keep this in because it was still a great resource and there are alternatives like it. And it's a great example of how quickly the marketing world can change. Quoted and HARO are two examples of alternatives to HARO. Full disclosure, we have not gotten a chance to vet either of these alternatives, but if you are interested in a company like HARO, these might be platforms to check out.
And basically what it is it's a resource to be able to help us connect with a reporter that is writing about a certain topic that we may be able to contribute to. Free PR. And y'all know we love that, okay? Yeah. So if you are an online business, if you are let's say you're a graphic designer, you can lend to contributing to stories that are focused on graphic design. If you're in clinical research space, this is a great thing. Anything
agriculture,
any business, I think, can get value out of this free resource. So what you do is you go to their website, HARO, HARO, then you sign up for their email. You tell them what category you're interested in. So every day they will kick an email to you either once a day or twice a day. You tell it. And they will send you just very basic listings of topics, articles that people are writing about. And if it sounds interesting to you, you click on it and it gives you more details about the type of people they're looking to interview or include quotes from.
Yes.
And so it's very easy. You pick and choose as much or as little as you want to be involved. And I think it does help if you're looking to build that part of your website where it's like in the news or press releases, right?
Yeah.
Or you just want some extra mentions online. This can help connect you to writers that can help you achieve that.
Yes. Love that. I once worked with an ad agency where I had to go through and revise all of their work because it would be laden with misspellings and wrong information. We were spending thousands of dollars for me to do double the work.
Sometimes you don't need an ad agency. You just need resources to be able to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, that's why we created the S.O.B community for the small business owners who want to keep their marketing in-house but still needs some support.
You get templates, courses, downloads, expert advice, weekly live calls, and a supportive group of other small business owners for just $50 a month. So head over to school.com/SOB. That's SKOOL.com/SOB, all lowercase. Join today and feel confident in your marketing.
Our next one is going to be HubSpot Academy. So here's the thing. HubSpot by itself is a customer platform
That you pay for.
HubSpot by itself. I haven't used it. I'm not really interested in it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like it costs more than it's worth.
I think it depends on your business. I think if you have a big business that has a lot of moving parts, I think it could be valuable in keeping a team on track, because it's like a centralized hub where you store everything, right?
Yeah.
And you get to see like your customer data and all that. And also if you're pushing a customer through a pipeline, like a sales funnel, then you're able to see where they're at, and it has notes attached. It's all just very organized.
Yes. And if that's something you're interested in.
A little more on the expensive side. So yes. So I get what you're saying. It's
a little more expensive, but maybe go look at it. I specifically want to talk about the HubSpot Academy because they offer free courses for small business owners. So they have a huge library of topics and courses. They also have some free downloads, some free tools that you can use. One that I have used is their website grader.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. So if you feel like you don't know how your website is doing, is it built correctly? Is it really working? HubSpot has a website grader. It will crawl your website and it'll tell you, you should work on your SEO. You should work on your lazy loading. You should work on, it'll give you options. It'll give you ways that you can upgrade your website, and it also gives you a grade as well. Like it tells you how good your website is.
So hopefully you don't get an F.
Yeah. We didn't get an F.
I mean, I would expect us not to get an F.
No, we got an A when I looked at it last, which was when I was writing notes for this. But HubSpot Academy, they have a lot of marketing courses like digital marketing, email marketing, stuff like that. So something to consider looking at.
I always like to know where the source of the information is coming from. And what I love about HubSpot, like you said, Chelsea, the platform itself, they've been around a while. They're trusted within the business realm. Lots of big companies use them. And so I love that the Academy, for one, is their way of helping all businesses, regardless of whether you're using them or not. But the information, the stuff they're getting, think about this. It's kind of like, we say this with YouTube all the time, right? It's a what do you call it? Data center. Okay. So So I love that HubSpot, it's giving you these resources, but all of that resource is based off of what they've learned through having the clientele and the in-depth knowledge of all these businesses and industries. That's one of the reasons I like going to HubSpot and just seeing what resources they have, because as a marketer, I'm like, they deal with so many different business types and they've been doing it for so long, and they have such a large database that I know when they're putting something together, it's going to be pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. So Vivian, next I want to talk about the Small Business Development Centers, or the SBDC. So this is actually a group effort, a cooperative effort between the government, the United States government, and
hopefully not the Chinese government.
We have listeners that aren't in the United States.
I mean, okay.
I'm doing my due diligence right now, and I am confirming that we are talking, this specific resource is going to be only for people in the United States.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. So it's a collaborative, cooperative effort between like universities, the small business administration here in the United States, all of that. But they provide, Vivian, this is a great resource. Y'all, this is a great resource. They provide counseling and training to small businesses, including working with the Small Business Administration to develop and provide informational tools to support small business startups and existing business expansion. So the important things here is they provide counseling and training, not only for businesses who are just starting out, but also for businesses that are looking to grow.
Awesome. Love that.
Yes. They also have in-person workshops and online meetings. So if you can't go to a workshop in person, they will likely have an online Zoom call around the same topic.
And this is also a free resource.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. Now, Vivian, my next resource is not free. However, still something definitely to consider because it's your local Chamber of Commerce. So yes, to participate in a majority of what the Chamber of Commerce offers, you do have to be a member. Prices range, so I don't want to tell you a price because I don't know where you live.
It's typically anywhere from like $300 to, I think you could do up to $5,000, $10,000. So, but that's what it's, you know, if you want to just get started, it could be $250, $300 for basic membership.
Yes. Yes, the Chamber of Commerce is not free. However, they do have a lot of great resources. I know for one, they will bring in professionals to talk about whatever their profession is. So you could learn, you could go to a marketing workshop with an actual marketing professional talking. They also give you the opportunity to network, interact with your local community. We've talked about this before, Vivian, but ribbon cuttings. You can do a ribbon cutting through your local Chamber of Commerce. Now, that specifically, I believe, I don't know for all of the chambers, but I know for our specific local chamber, you don't have to be a member to get them to do a ribbon cutting. You're just going to have to pay a fee instead of it being free.
For members,
members,
and then non-members pay,
Yeah, non-members pay,
Well, so what I love about this too is some of the other things, to Chelsea's point, the chamber, because they are part of the local community that a lot of times is, well, their role is to represent small businesses in the community that they serve. Therefore, that means that they have close connections to the local government. And I know they typically will have events that they do throughout the year. So some of those events are economic forum luncheons. They also do like sometimes women's luncheons. They also have business after hours, which typically are on a monthly basis. Great way to go out there and mingle, rub elbows with other small business owners in the community. On top of that, though, some of the other things that people I think don't realize, but once you're a member of your chamber, they give you access and opportunities to actually market and promote your business to other chamber members. Okay, so whether that's through through sponsoring a new member breakfast, where they're inviting new members to come in. It gives you speaking time and you get your logo on all of the material. Or perhaps it's that they have an email database of over 2,000 people, 2,000 chamber members, and you want to put something in their e-newsletter for a fee. You can do that as a chamber member. So there are lots of great opportunities for you to amplify and get visibility for your business within that community. And then on top of it, all of the talks and the speaking engagements that they have bringing professionals in. A lot of times they'll do either the marketing talks, sometimes they'll do stuff on, I'm trying to think what else I've seen, SEO, anything that they can kind of lend itself to having a professional come in and speak to that particular subject, they will.
Yeah. And Vivian, I put this one on here, not necessarily for the marketing resources. I put it on here for networking. Yeah. Because it is a great resource hub if you want to network and get involved in your local community, which as a small business owner, I hate to say it, you don't have an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have an option. If you want your small business to be successful, you're going to have to network.
Yeah, it's all about who you know, right?
Yeah. Okay. We have one more marketing resource hub. Vivian, what do you think it is?
Hopefully it's our S.O.B small owned business community. Am I right?
It is. It's ourselves. I want to bring up that the Seasoned Marketer, also just our website, a great resource hub. I do a blog post every week. We have free downloads. We have free templates. We have other templates that you can pay for. We have a workshop in there. We have a free workshop and a paid workshop. There are a lot of resources specifically about small business marketing on our website. So that's theseasonedmarketer.com. But if you're looking for a little more resources, a little more help, more one-on-one help specifically, we have the S.O.B community.
Yeah, so this is think of it kind of like a monthly membership, but for your marketing. And so you pay $50 a month, and you basically get access to this platform. So it's this forum. We give you a username, a password. You get instant access to all of the video tutorials that we have uploaded on there. They're all organized by topic. We have an Excel spreadsheet of marketing resources, like a database that you could look into. So if you're looking for an email platform, we have it all listed with the website. So you can easily go to the Excel spreadsheet, click on those, decide which email platform you want to use. On top of it, we also have other community members that you can talk to, share ideas with, draw inspiration from. And I think the thing that's probably the most valuable is the weekly Zoom calls that we have with members. So once a week, we all hop onto Zoom and we record the call. So if you happen to miss one, you're able to catch up on it, whenever it's convenient for you. But you guys bring questions to the table. And so then we just answer them, or we're able to pitch ideas to each other and say like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Am I missing anything? How can I get the word out about X, Y, and Z? I think it's extremely helpful. Yeah. And if anything, it makes, your small business marketing journey a little less lonely.
Absolutely. And can I just say, our community members are so amazing at sharing with other community members. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like, it's not just Vivian and I giving our opinions, but it's also other small business owners saying, hey, actually, I went through this as well, and this is what I did. Stuff like that. Like, it's collaborative all the way around.
Yeah, I think it helps because, we also want to hear back and to get feedback. A lot of times what's hard in business is that we stay in our bubbles and then we do all this work and then we go, once it's presentable, and we're like, hey, what does the public, what do potential customers think about this? This is a place where you can get all that out early on. And so that way you're able to build the thing you want more effectively and efficiently, I think. Yeah. And like you said, because our community has an array of different industries, different people in the industry, you're able to really capitalize and get good insight just from everybody across the board. Yeah. So if you're interested, just go to SKOOL.com/SOB.
SOB is all lowercase, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vivian, are we ready for the TLDL?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to name the resources. Y'all, if you came to this TLDL chapter, but you haven't listened to the whole conversation, you're probably going to want to listen to the whole conversation so you know what each of the resources has, but here are the resource hubs that we talked about in this episode. So we have Google in general, but also Grow with Google. We have the Service Corps of Retired Executives, or SCORE, as most people know it. We have HARO, Help a Reporter Out. HubSpot Academy. The Academy part is important because HubSpot itself is a paid for business, you have to pay to use HubSpot, but HubSpot Academy is free and what you're looking for as a resource hub. We also have the Small Business Development Centers, the SBDC. We have local Chamber of Commerce. And lastly, we have the Seasoned Marketer and the S.O.B community. So these are all great resources for small business owners who are looking to get a little more comfortable with their marketing.
Friendly reminder, if you want to share the love, please share this podcast episode with a fellow small business owner that you love, all right? So we're here to just help small business owners get really confident in their marketing, and this podcast is one of the many ways that we do that. So that's it for today's episode. Chelsea?
Go be the best SOB you can be.